So what happens when an entire country decides to create a super league for its universities? We're talking about a massive, high-stakes national project designed to build world-class research institutions and hopefully transform the country's whole economy.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? It's something leaders all over the world think about. How do you create an engine for innovation that can compete on the global stage? Do you pour money into the schools you already have, or do you try to build something new from scratch? Well, back in 2017, Turkey decided to put this to the test. They launched this huge initiative called the Research Universities Program. The ambition? To create a new crop of universities that could go toe-to-toe with the big names. You know, your Harvards, your Stanfords, your MITs.
Seriously, you should think of it like a Premier League for academics. The government set up this whole system to rank, reward, and even demote its top universities. It was all part of this quest to create a new generation of intellectual powerhouses.
Now, this wasn't just some one-and-done project. Oh no, it was a living, breathing system that changed over time. It all kicked off in 2017, but then, plot twist, by 2021, they hit the reboot button and changed the rules. And now, after 7 years, we've got all this data to see who actually won this academic Hunger Games. Okay, but before we jump into the winners and losers, you gotta understand how they kept score. What were the metrics that decided which universities would soar to the top and which ones would stumble?
It really all boiled down to three main things. First, research capacity. Think of that as the raw ingredients: the money, the labs, the number of PhDs. Then you had research quality, which is pretty much what it sounds like. Was the research any good? Did it get published? Did it have an impact? And finally, collaboration. How well these schools played with others, like industry partners and international universities.
But here's where it gets really interesting. They changed the rules of the game right in the middle of it. On the left, you're seeing the original 2017 rules, and on the right, the 2021 update. So why the switch? Well, it seems the government figured out the original system just wasn't getting the results they wanted. So they decided to shake things up. And this new scoring system sent a really clear message. The focus on raw research capacity and quality got a huge boost, both weighing in at 40%. Meanwhile, collaboration got knocked down to just 20%. The signal was unmistakable. It's not enough to just work with others. You have to be producing top-tier, boundary-pushing research, period. And as you're about to see, that change made a massive difference in the final outcome. All right, so the stage is set, the rules have been rewritten, and the universities have had years to adapt. Now for the fun part. Let's check the scoreboard. So yeah, after all that, who were the big winners? And who got left behind in this academic arms race? Probably the biggest shocker of the whole program was Erciyes University. Get this, their performance score shot up by a staggering 145%. How on earth did they do it? Well, they laser-focused on those new metrics and just poured resources into research and development. But you know, not everyone had such a great run. Take a look at Middle East Technical University, or MET2. It's one of the most famous universities in the country, but their score only went up by about 3%. Why the tiny bump? Well, when you're a long-established powerhouse, sometimes you're just a little slower to adapt when the rules of the game change on you. And these scores weren't just for bragging rights. They had a real impact on the rankings. That meant reputations were on the line, and so was the ability to attract the best students and faculty. For Gebze Technical University, dropping from 6th all the way to 13th, that had to sting. But for Erciyes, that massive 5-place jump into the top 10 was an absolute game changer. So you've really got these two fascinating stories playing out. On one side, you have Me2, the established champion, the legacy institution that, while still on top, seems to be kind of resting on its laurels. And on the other side, you have Erciyes University, the scrappy underdog, the breakout star that came out of nowhere to completely shake up the league.
But here's the thing, the impact of this program wasn't just about the 20 or so universities that were officially in the Super League. No, it created these ripple effects that were felt across the entire higher education system.
That's right. Suddenly, even schools that weren't officially part of the competition were forced to step up their game. Why? Because this Super League basically raised the bar for everyone.
It's that classic idea of a rising tide lifts all boats. The competition got fiercer everywhere. Universities that weren't even in the program started looking inward, trying to improve their own results. It created new chances for them to collaborate with the top-tier schools and sparked this broader culture of innovation and research all across the country.
So, everything sounds great, right? The Super League was a massive success? Well, Not so fast. Like any project this ambitious, it definitely had its fair share of problems.
As the author of the study this is all based on, Dr. Tuna Batuhan puts it, the program has made huge progress, but it's still very much a work in progress. So, what are the biggest challenges that still need to be tackled?
Well, there are 4 big ones. First, they need to fix the unequal funding. Right now, the top schools get the lion's share, which makes it hard for others to catch up. Second, there's a big regional divide between universities in major cities and those elsewhere. Third, they need to do a better job of connecting all this amazing research to actual industries and create clear career paths for students. And finally, and this one's really important, you have to make sure that this intense focus on research doesn't come at the expense of good old-fashioned teaching quality.
So all of this leaves us with a huge, kind of philosophical question, doesn't it? Can a system that is fundamentally designed to pit universities against each other in this fierce competition, can that also create a culture of genuine collaboration? Or are we just creating a world where it's every university for itself? It's a tough one, and the answer could really shape the future of higher education, not just in Turkey, but everywhere.